Welcome to the Ada K Show. I'm your host, Ada K, and I am a criminal justice major. I am also a deaf courtroom commentator, breaking down the gripping courtroom drama while providing full ASL interpretation, making justice accessible to everyone. Grab a cup of Java and let's dive in. Don't forget, comment, like, and subscribe. And if you love this channel, please become a member. Good evening, everybody. And yes, we got another day of court, and now we've got it tonight. Wow, didn't know my fingernail polish matched. Go figure. I've been wearing it all day. We have a new case, and there's a bunch of drama llama in this case, and we're not going to get to watch the beginnings of the case because they showed the people providing the stream showed some things they weren't supposed to show when they got taken down. So now we have a second live. So we're going to join in the middle of it, but I'm going to give you a rundown so you know what's going on. Okay. The charges in the background on Devyn Michaels, who's also known as Tracy Nicole Traveras. She is facing first-degree red room charges in the 23 death of her boyfriend, Jonathan Willette, whose body was found decapitated in Henderson, Nevada. Michaels has previously pled guilty to second-degree red room, but during her July 25th sentencing, she recanted her plea, claiming innocence. This led prosecutors to withdraw the plea and proceed to trial. Today, the trial started in Las Vegas, Nevada, Las Vegas. It is being live streamed, and we're getting ready to go in there, and we're going to watch. Judge Tierra Jones ruled that jurors will not hear evidence of Michael's prior child abuse convictions, which occurred just days after Willette's death. The judge deemed it too prejudicial and unrelated to the red room charge. Michael's emotional courtroom and behavior is including sobbing and protesting her innocence. Do we have another business on our hands? Let's join in right now as trial is underway. I have had to go back. I think we're about what is it, a couple hours? About an hour. So we're going to watch this. Mind you, this is in the now. If the other proceedings show up today from earlier that was taken down, we'll hop into that.
Sergeant, and went to patrol as a patrol sergeant, and currently I'm assigned to our police academy in charge of training all the new recruits that are coming into the department.
That's an awesome responsibility, right?
Yes.
So then turning your attention to August 7th, 2023, were you working as a patrol sergeant at that time?
Patrol sergeant, yes.
Okay. And what are some of the duties of a patrol sergeant?
Well, patrol sergeants, they typically have...
Yes, it is because of Dick Cheney.
Approximately 10 patrol officers assigned to them, and you have a specific area of the city that you're responsible for. This was a North Area Command, and you basically monitoring calls that they're going on. The patrol officers are actively patrolling their areas, responding to 911, emergency, non-emergency calls, and if they need assistance from a supervisor, they'll call you to the scene. Supervisors also monitoring the radio. If you think there's a call that may be out of the ordinary and they may need assistance, you'll start heading that way. If there's any critical incidents, you're typically one of the first supervisors on scene to get it stabilized until a watch commander can come out and take over.
So then, turning your attention to that date, was there sort of an out-of-the-ordinary scene that you responded to?
Yes.
And was that at 2698 Paladura Drive in Henderson?
Yes.
What was the nature of the call as you understood it?
Well, it came in as a medical call. Mom called and said that her son was injured and that he was bloody. And I recall like the dispatchers tried giving CPR instructions, and just the mom stated, however she stated, that she refused. The call note said that she refused CPR because he had no neck or head, but there was a lot of blood. So it was a medical call, basically. We were responding to unknown medical call.
Okay. So you respond to the address, is that right?
Yes.
And who was already there at the time? Do you know?
The firefighters and one of my guys, Officer Cooper. I think there was a couple officers. Typically the patrol officers, because they're out and about proactively patrolling, they'll get there first, then they'll call me to the scene. So when I got there, fire was on scene. A few of my guys were on scene. They kind of established a crime scene. I met them outside. They gave me a quick brief and went in.
So at the time you arrived then, the scene was locked down as a crime scene, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. What did you notice when you got to the scene?
More like outside, inside?
Yeah, let's start with the outside. So starting from the outside, when you arrived to the scene, did you notice anything of note, at the front of the home?
So I noticed the garage was partially open, maybe, I don't know, 3 feet, the exterior roll-up garage door. And at the front door, there was a older female and male sitting outside talking to one of my officers. Okay. And the front door was open. So I just went up and started talking to them.
When you say talking to them, talking to the male and female at the front door?
Yes.
Okay. And were they identified as Yoko Willette and Yoshida Masao?
Yes, it ended up being the person in the room. It was their mom and I believe her boyfriend.
So the deceased's mother?
Yes.
And the mother's boyfriend?
Yes.
So you walk into the front door of the scene, walk us through what you saw, what you heard, things of that nature.
Okay, so I go in and my officer is escorting me back. So we walk into like the living room area, go into the kitchen, take a few steps down, and come back this way. It's like a converted living room area maybe that was converted into a bedroom. And the bed is to our right. And then laying on the bed was a body, the deceased. And then, do you want me to explain that more? Or?
Was there anything you noticed that you smelled when you were inside the room?
Well, initially, but we didn't know what it was until later. But you could kind of taste and smell like a little burning that's not common walking into people's houses.
So you described it as a burning, like a chemical burning smell. Was that right?
Yeah, like you could kind of taste it a little bit, and you could definitely felt it in your nostrils. But it wasn't really strong when we first went in. As strong as it seemed like it got stronger the longer we were there.
And more in the bedroom area?
Yes.
And you may have already said this, but was there anything unique about the body when you saw it?
Well, so like I said, I came from the kitchen down the stairs, came around. The bed is here, and the body was laying face down on the bed, and the shoulders were kind of, if the body was laying this way, face down, the shoulders were kind of even with the edge of the bed. And I think it was partially wrapped in a blanket. And just things that I noticed, there didn't appear to be like signs of any struggle or anything. Like there wasn't a bunch messed up. It was just kind of laying there, like the arms weren't moved or anything. So it's pulled to the edge, and it just, in my mind, I thought, man, that was just a really clean cut, and then there was no head.
Okay.
And then
Now, you had mentioned the body was laying on the bed. Is that right?
the body was laying on the bed, yes.
And was it on the body's stomach?
Yes,
the
on the
person's
stomach,
stomach?
laying face down. Yeah, the back was facing up.
Okay. And where the head would have been off the bed. Is that right?
Yes, like I said, the shoulders were kind of in line right with the edge of the bed. So the head would have been out here.
Did you see any blood at the scene?
I did see blood, but just from experience over the years, like you've seen people shot or stabbed or other lose a limb on a motorcycle accident or other type of trauma to the body, you would expect to see a lot more blood. And that was something that stuck in my head, is like, there's blood, but I would expect to see a lot more, especially under where the head would have been. Like, I don't know if, like, maybe something was put there or something to collect. It's what it appeared. Like, maybe something was put there to collect the blood, because there was just what appeared to be not as much blood that you would imagine being there.
So no blood spattering, things of that nature that you might
Right.
normally
I remember there was blood on the mattress to the right of the body, and then a small, I mean, I don't know if that's small, I think there's a small amount of blood on the floor. And then, yeah, looking around, the wall wasn't very far away. You would expect to see some type of cast off, spatter, blood anywhere, but it was just, it appeared like a very clean scene, other than the body, the blood, the little blood.
Now, the color of the blood, was it unusual?
Yeah, typically, I mean, blood is pretty obvious, like we've all seen blood, but this one wasn't like the typical fresh red blood. It was more of like a black color.
And that's not normal based on your training and experience from what you've seen with
Based-
bloody incidents.
Based on my experience and being at other crime scenes, with, you know, the time lapse, no, not common and not consistent with what I've seen in the past.
Now, you mentioned to us that you have 28 years of law enforcement experience.
Yes,
Was this the first decapitation you responded to in your career?
I was thinking about that. I can't recall another decapitation.
Something you would probably remember if you did see it before, right?
Yes.
So it's not your everyday event that you see something like this, right?
No.
Did you inspect any other rooms other than that bedroom where the body was found?
Yes, so after seeing that and just thinking about the blood, I went around. So if you go around the bed, back there's kind of like a little hallway that led into a bathroom. So I walked into the bathroom, and before I went to the bathroom, I remember having to step over 2 bottles of like cleaning, liquid cleaning bottles, some kind of Clorox or that type of thing, bottles laying on the carpet prior to getting to the bathroom. So stepped over those, went into the bathroom because I was wondering maybe if there was blood in the sink or blood in the bathroom or anything, but nothing appeared. There didn't appear to be any blood in there, and didn't appear to be any signs of struggle in there either. So the other things that I noticed that the mom had said outside, I confirmed what she had told me, where she said when she came downstairs, she thought it was weird that the dogs were locked out, and the interior garage door, the single door, was propped open, and then the exterior door was rolled up. So when I came out of the bathroom, I noticed that the interior garage door was propped open, the exterior roll-up door was part of the way up.
Okay. Now, I want to turn back to the body that you saw. Did you notice anything peculiar emanating from the body?
It was actually pointed out by one of my officers on the scene. I was kind of by the foot of the bed, I think, and he said, "Hey, Sarge, this guy is smoking." And I was like, "What?" He said, "This guy is smoking. There's smoke coming from underneath him." So I go over there and see he's shining his flashlight. You could see kind of smoke coming off of the body, or what appeared to be some smoke coming off the body. So I told my officer, I said, hey, get a camera and start taking pictures of this scene. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, if this catches on fire, we need to get as much photos as we can before we lose the scene to a fire and then firemen shooting water all over everything. So let's try and get as much photos as we can. So then we get closer and he's shining his light, and then you can really start. It was coming, like I said, if he's laying face down on his shoulders, it was more coming from like under him, around like
From
his
like
shoulder.
the chest area?
Yeah, from between like the bed and him. So that's why I didn't know, all right, is this something that's going to start on fire? But then once we got closer, taking a closer look, that's when you could really smell, and it burned inside of your nose and you could really taste it. So I'm like, hey, we got to clear the guys out of there. This is some kind of chemical that's mixing.
Okay. Did you eventually then get a statement from Yoko Willette, the deceased mother?
I talked to her.
Okay.
I didn't get like an official statement like a detective.
You spoke with her.
I
Is
spoke
that right?
with her.
What did she share with you?
She shared with me that she last saw them.
And it's not being offered for the truth of the matter asserted, it's just for the investigation and what led to the investigation.
Side bomb. Okay, this is a little creepy. The fact that there was something he was smoking.
Yoko,
Yes.
and conducting that initial investigation, did you eventually call the lieutenant to come out?
Yes, that the patrol supervisor. Yeah, that's your job. You get there, make sure the crime scene is locked down, taped off, so all the evidence and the crime scene's preserved. Then that's why I spoke to her to get a brief story, so I could report up my chain. So once I get the story, my guy's observations, the story from mom, I put that together. I call my watch commander, and then we make notifications to get detectives and crime scene to come out to the scene to hand over the investigation to them.
And did you learn through your investigation that there were children as well involved?
Yes.
Okay. And were you attempting to locate those children?
Yes, and that was because the mom had, and part of my conversation with her, said that he was supposed to take the kids to school.
Okay. And I believe you mentioned there was crime scene tape that was put up around the residence to lock it down as well.
Yes.
Okay. And while you were waiting for the lieutenant as well as other investigators to arrive, did you also still investigate the scene and look around for different things of evidentiary value?
Yes, the male's truck was outside, so we moved the crime scene tape around the truck. Noticed, I think, what we thought there were spots on the driveway that we thought may be evidence. So, yeah, and at that point, I kind of break away once it's secure, and then I start kind of getting my thoughts and the information put down, because when the detectives and crime scenes show up, it's my responsibility to give them a brief when I turn over the scene.
And as part of your duties as well, did you initially send individuals, other officers, to canvass for different surveillance footage as well?
Yes. Yeah, that's kind of standard protocol on the crime scenes. Once you have everything secure, your extra officers go out, try and find witnesses. Other officers go and try and video surveillance that may have caught something.
So you mentioned that you were putting together a brief for this case, is that right?
Yes.
And as part of that brief, is there an event number and a report number assigned to the case?
Yes.
Can you tell us the difference between the two?
Well, the event number is a longer number. It's the year, the month, the day, and then the number of calls in that 24-hour period. So at midnight, the next police emergency call that comes in will be year, month, day 001. The 10th call will be 0010. So that's how the event numbers cover the 24-hour period of police work. And then the report number covers the annual period of police work for police reports taken. So it'll start with the year and then the number of report it is. So January 1st, 12:01, the first police report taken will be, for next year, will be 26, 4 zeros and a 1.
Okay. So starting then with the event number, in this case, do you have a reason to dispute that the event number was HP 230807000355?
No,
Okay. And the report number for this case, do you have a reason to dispute it being 23-15229?
no,
Does that sound correct?
yeah,
And so while you're doing your briefing, eventually detectives and crime scene analysts eventually show up to the scene. Is that right?
yes.
And after they showed up, what did you do?
Don't know,
So
Angelo.
they showed up, I let them know about the chemical smell, the possible hazard, and the smoking. And then, like I said, I give them a brief. Basically, I write up, it has the report number, location, the rescue that was on scene, their information, the initial patrol officers that made entry with them, the time they made entry, then the information of the deceased, the information of the other people in the home. It's just basically like an overview of what we have. And then that there was no obvious weapon on the scene, and just kind of some of the abnormal, typical things that we talked about already.
And so after you give this briefing, does your role cease at that point?
Yes, that's when, if they have any questions, they would ask questions. Then I do a walkthrough with them, showing them where my officers went, what we did, things that we thought may possibly be important, and then turn over the scene to them, and then we move out, and then they handle it. So I would then look at my staffing and see how many people do I need here for this. For sure, one for the crime scene log up front, and then I start clearing guys off the call to go clear up other calls that are pending.
Thank you. Court's indulgence. State passes the witness, Your Honor.
Thank you. Sergeant Seals, you've been employed in law enforcement for 28 years.
Yes, sir.
Worked your way up.
Yes, sir.
You're an instructor.
Yes, sir.
A lot of experience.
Yes.
You testified that you've been in multiple crime scenes through these 28 years.
Yes.
Fair to say that, you know, a severed appendage, an arm or a leg is going to bleed, but a head, I mean, there's got to be a lot more blood going on there, correct? One would assume.
You would think so.
And you would testify that when you got there, having been on so many crime scenes, you go and you look in the bathroom because it just doesn't make sense. I mean, you're assuming this head wasn't, I mean, removed from the body here on the bed. It had to have been somewhere else. Fair to say?
No, I didn't say that. It seemed like, because the shoulders were pulled to the edge of the bed, it appeared that it was done there. But I was looking to see, you know, because that, yeah, the shoulders pulled over here. It didn't appear that it was done somewhere else.
But you said you went and looked in the bathroom, correct?
Yeah, to see if there was like cleanup, signs of struggle or something.
Blood?
Yeah, blood from washing your hands. Because I looked in the sink around the ring and didn't see anything that...
Based upon the blood markings on the bed, it was clear the body had been moved.
I can't say that.
Okay. Can't give an opinion one way or the other?
Well, the body was here. There was blood on the right side of the body. And like I said, directly under where the shoulders were, there was an area of blood like that. But I don't, yeah.
But you testified things just didn't seem right, and that's why you went and you looked in the bathroom, correct?
Yes.
And, I mean, you'd agree with me, you talk about a bucket, I mean, that's just, you're speculating. I mean, you're hypothesizing, fair to say.
Absolutely.
And fair to say that you can't say. I mean, if something was wrong, so you went and you looked in the bathroom, correct? Based upon what you saw.
Based on what I saw, like I said, that is speculation, but it's like what made sense with the way that the blood was, the body was, lack of blood on the thing, the shoulders lined up with the side. And part of me going into the bathroom also is just before I turn things over to detectives, I want to make sure that I checked everything in case they have questions for me.
Fair enough. But again, you would have expected to have seen a lot more blood, correct?
Yes.
head just been chopped off or sawed off or however removed there, correct?
If they were alive at the time, you know, because typically when I have seen those injuries, if you're alive, your blood is pumping and it squirts. It's, you know, I've seen a guy cut his neck and it squirts.
All over the place. Have you ever had any cases
If they're
where a
alive.
head, have you ever had an experience though where a head's been cut off with a saw? Oh, we're dead.
Not that I know of.
Okay, so we don't know then. Fair to say?
Fair to
But you
say.
went and looked in the bathroom, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. No further questions.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, the jury have any questions? Sir, you can write your question on a full sheet of paper with your name and your juror number. King Counsel approach.
Well, we got another sidebar. And I got myself in a knot. And this sucks.
Yes, ma'am. Judge.
In speaking to the homeowner, Joko, were the dogs hers or the victim? Did she tell you?
The only thing, the direct answer to your question is, I don't know whose they were.
Okay. Was it no? Did she tell you if it was normal for them to be locked out based on your conversation with Yoko?
She said it was abnormal.
Okay. State any follow-up based on the juror question?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, jury have any further questions for this witness? Okay, seeing no response, sir, you are excused. Thank you very much for your testimony here today.
Ask questions. Ooh, the jury gets to ask questions. Ooh, we like that. I wish I could have heard arguing openings and all that, but when you got a problem with something being shown on TV that wasn't supposed to be shown, they took it down. I hope to get this hat completely done tonight because I need to start on the other one tomorrow. So yes, I'm working on that hat.
Versus Devyn Michaels, may the record reflect that Ms. Michaels, President of the Attorneys, Deputy District Attorney on behalf of the state, do both parties stipulate to the presence of our witness.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
State may call the next witness.
Stephanie Wilson.
Do solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Yes.
Thank you.
And can you please state your full name and then spell it for the record?
Stephanie Wilson, Stephannie Wilson.
Thank you. Ma'am, what do you do for a living?
I am currently employed as the crime scene analyst supervisor for the Henderson Police Department.
And how long have you been with Henderson Police Department in total?
I have been with Henderson for 18 years,
How long have you been working in your current capacity as crime scene supervisor?
for 13 years.
What did you do prior to being the crime scene supervisor?
I was a crime scene analyst with Henderson. And then 2 years prior to me getting hired on at Henderson, I was employed with today's Metropolitan Police Department, also as a crime scene analyst.
And what type of training and education do you have that allows you to do what you do?
So upon getting hired, you go through an 11-week academy. It's like a classroom type setting. If you successfully complete field training, you go through, the academy, you go through about 16 weeks of field training. And then my current job also requires a certification through the International Association for Identification, where we have to have so much ongoing training every year. So
I would presume Henderson Police Department responds to calls for service in Henderson.
Correct.
That's here within Clark County, Nevada.
Correct.
What types of calls for service have you responded to in your career, Jen?
Everything ranging from property crimes all the way up to homicides, officer-involved shootings, everything across the board.
Let's focus in on homicides. Describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury who may not be familiar with law enforcement. How is it that you get involved in a homicide scene?
In my current capacity, I respond to all homicides. I'm the only crime scene supervisor for Henderson Police, so my job is to respond and to assist my folks and facilitate whatever they need in that capacity.
If you could describe the general duties of a crime scene analyst, not necessarily yourself, but someone who's just a crime scene analyst.
Sure. So we respond to the scene and we handle all aspects of the crime scene documentation, everything from taking photos to evidence collection to latent print processing, shooting reconstruction, bloodstain pattern analysis, anything and everything involving crime scene documentation.
When you document a crime scene, I presume that is done under a particular report number, event number?
Yes.
And is that a unique identifying number that allows you to categorize everything from this particular scene or investigation is associated with this number?
Yes.
And then Henderson tracks their event number via a report writing system, and people can add to that and update reports. Is that
Correct.
fair? In this particular case, were you operating under event number 23-15229?
Yes.
If you could describe for the ladies and gentlemen how it is that you received this call for service.
So on an incident like this, I will typically get notified by the detective sergeant. Usually the homicide sergeant or the homicide lieutenant will get the initial call from patrol, and then they will call me and let me know that we may have an incident, and we'll coordinate detectives as well as crime scene personnel responding to the scene.
And is it your duty or your responsibility to assign your crime scene analyst to a particular call?
Yes.
And is that based on a rotation or a shift? How does that work?
So my folks are assigned shifts, so they work shifts, and then once we get to the scene and determine what we have, we'll start assigning responsibilities.
And on August 7th of 2023, our date in question, do you remember how many crime scene analysts you were supervising at the time?
2 at the time,
At that scene?
at that scene, yes.
Overall, how many in your team?
8, I have 8 total.
Okay. And is it common for a homicide scene such as this to have 2 plus a supervisor?
At least 2, if not more, and myself as well.
Okay. Who are the other 2 that responded to this scene with you?
So I had CSA Megan Bone and CSA Randy Newbold with me.
And you mentioned dividing up duties. How do you go about doing that?
It's usually based on a rotation at some level, workloads, but usually one person is assigned photographs and writing the report, and the other person is assigned evidence and diagramming.
And you mentioned processing earlier, like latent print process.
Correct.
Is that actually something you and your crime scene analysts do hands-on?
Yes.
Can you describe generally the process of latent print processing and then go into DNA processing?
Sure. So latent print processing is really determined on the surface area that we're trying to process. Depending on whatever you're trying to process will determine what type of powders we use. There's multiple different types of powders or techniques we'll utilize, again, depending on that surface. But we will utilize these powders. We will photograph it if needs be, and then using tape, we'll collect the tape, and we'll collect it using the tape, put it on the latent print card.
How about DNA processing?
So DNA processing is, we'll get there, we'll do a visual inspection. If something looks like it could be blood, we'll photograph it first, and then we will perform a presumptive test to see if it is blood. There's a lot of things that look like blood that are maybe not blood, so we'll perform a presumptive test, and then if it is determined to be blood, we'll document it accordingly and collect a sample.
Okay. So the instant case, you responded on August 7th of 2023.
Yes,
Did you respond to 2698 Paula Duro,
yes,
obviously within your jurisdiction of Henderson?
correct.
And do you remember around what time you responded?
We arrived at the scene at roughly about 10 in the morning.
When you responded to the scene, did you get a briefing from the folks who were already on scene?
We did, from the patrol personnel on scene, we got a briefing.
When you received the briefing, well, generally, what is the purpose of getting a briefing?
It's just to get all the information we have up until that point. Usually it's just to get report numbers, names, dates of births, details of the calls for service, maybe what patrol or fire observed when they first got there, just kind of your basic preliminary information.
Are there times in which you will receive a briefing and that will guide you in what to focus on, what is normal or abnormal in the scene, etc.?
Yes,
And so you're receiving this information in order to determine kind of how to approach the scene, etc.?
sure.
What was the briefing you received in this case?
In this particular case, we received information that the victim had been found by his mother, that he was laying in bed, and that there was a strong odor of chemicals in the area that he was found. We weren't really sure yet what we had. Patrol had advised that they believed that his head was gone, was missing. That is such a rare occasion, or I guess circumstance for us, that we still were a little skeptical going into that. We weren't sure if we were dealing with, a gunshot wound or something like that that could explain that, I guess. So,
Well, let me stop you. Just,
okay.
Are there times in which you've responded to scenes where it may be reported in that way, the head is gone, but it's just severely damaged from a gunshot wound or something like that?
Yes.
Is that what you're referring to?
Yes,
When
that's
you're
what I'm
like
referring to.
a little skeptical,
Yes,
didn't really think it was an actual decapitation.
correct.
Okay. And so you received that information. Do you receive information related to how many people were at the home at the time the body was discovered?
Yes, we were told that there were, the victim was in the scene, and then there were 2 other individuals that were in the scene.
And were those 2 elderly Asian American folks?
Yes,
Did you see them when you arrived? Were they still there?
we did. They had moved them outside of the house. They were sitting outside the front of the house.
And after receiving your briefing, do you essentially go in and do what we refer to as a walkthrough?
Yes.
What does that mean for the jury?
So we go in and we just do a brief walk around the scene and see what we have. We're not starting anything at that point. We're just assessing the scene and what's in the scene and what we need to be cognizant of, and it's just very brief.
Okay. Once the walkthrough is done, and I presume a search warrant was authored and issued in the process of this.
Yes,
And pursuant to that search warrant, a judge authorized you all to go in and do your investigation.
correct.
When the walkthrough is going on, are crime scene analysts documenting at that time?
Not during the walkthrough.
Okay, so it's the next step when they begin documentation?
Right. We actually try to limit how many people go through the initial walkthrough, because we want to try to minimize any type of contamination,
Sure.
if at all possible. So not everyone necessarily does the walkthrough, but yes, once the search warrant is signed and we're authorized to go in at that point, I send in one person, usually that person taking photos, and they go in by themselves, so that we're minimizing any contamination, and they photograph the entire scene.
And you bring up a good point. Is it common on homicide scenes for first responders to have gone into the scene before your arrival?
Yes,
And first responders could be patrol officers and or fire department paramedics, etc.
that's what happens most of the time, yes,
I would presume their goal is life-saving measures initially.
absolutely.
Your goal is a little different. Once it's clear that the life is not being saved, you're then trying to limit access.
Correct,
But you're certainly not going to limit someone going in to try to save somebody's life.
correct.
Okay. And in this case, you mentioned that the duties were divided up a bit.
Yes.
Did you say who was doing photography?
CSA megaphone.
Okay. And is there typically what's referred to as a crime scene diagram authored?
Yes.
Who did that in this case?
So in this particular case, we had actually just gotten a new piece of equipment. We had just gotten a scanner. It's like a 3D scanner. So I actually did the scans of the scene, and it just generates point cloud data of the scene. And Megan was able to take that data and put it into this computerized diagram.
May I approach?
Yes.
Showing scene 16, do you recognize that?
Yes,
What does that appear to be?
that is the diagram of the scene.
And move the admission of that.
Any objection to that?
No objection.
Mayor Grant?
May I publish?
Yes.
Thank you. Showing the jury 16. So this particular diagram, does this encompass kind of the lower levels of the home?
Yes.
Describe the home kind of generally how it was set up, including levels.
So when you initially walk through the front door of the residence, I would consider that maybe a lower level. You walk in the front door into this formal living room. From there, there's like a couple of steps that lead up into that formal dining room and kitchen area. The dining room and kitchen area are all on essentially the same level. From there, on, I guess it would be the east side of that dining area, next to the kitchen, there is again another set of a couple stairs that lead back down into that living room where the decedent was found.
So bottom left of the diagram, exhibit 16, is this the front door?
Yes,
And then you said you walk into the living room,
yes,
and then there are a couple steps up to the formal dining room,
yes,
and then a couple steps down to what we'll refer to as, the victim's room.
yes,
And here it's listed as living room. It's kind of a converted room, is that fair?
yes,
Dining and formal dining room are on the same level,
yes,
and then there's some stairs that go up to bedrooms upstairs.
correct.
Okay. Based upon the scene and kind of how you're approaching it, I would presume that you searched the entire house.
We did not personally, the crime scene personnel didn't search the entire house,
Yeah.
but yes,
And when I say you, I'm referring to all of Henderson.
Yes.
I should have been more specific.
okay, yes,
You, as well as homicide detectives, are searching the entirety of the scene.
correct,
Searching and photographing and documenting are different things.
Correct.
Okay. You guys are documenting this.
yes,
Okay. The garage here is down to the bottom right, correct?
yes.
And then just for the record, what is all this we're seeing on the right-hand side of the screen?
So it's a legend of the diagram, so you can kind of see the title, so we have the report number, the address, what type of incident it is, who completed the diagram, and then we have, like I said, a legend of the evidence and items that we collected within the scene. And then a scale, it's a rough scale, and approximate scale, and then an arrow showing directionality.
Okay. Approximate scale, this is by foot?
Yes,
Okay. And then the evidence is listed as 1 ammonia bottle, 2 bleach bottle, 3 dog door insert, 4 documents, fair?
correct,
Those numbers then correspond with these little yellow numbers inside the diagram?
yes,
And that's attempting to depict those exactly where they're found.
correct,
And then obviously, we have the victim's body there on the bed, is that
yes,
correct?
yes,
Prior to you coming into the courtroom, did you have an opportunity to look through exhibits 16 to 234?
yes, I
You
did.
thumbed through all of those?
I did.
To save some time, you did it in the hallway?
I did.
And did all those appear to be fair and accurate depictions of the crime scene photos, or some of them that were taken at this scene?
Yes,
And I would move for the admission of 16 to 195 and then 208 through 234.
No objection.
No objection to those? Okay. 16 to 195 and 208 to 234?
Yes.
Okay.
Move
You
move to publish.
permission to post them all.
Thank you. Showing you 17, what is this?
so that is a gray card that is part of our standard procedure for my folks. When they photograph any crime scene, they begin with this photo card, if you will, which again tells us the date, the report number, who's taking the photos, and from a photographic standpoint, the color scale along the bottom could be important as well.
Okay, and the photographed by, it says MB1678. What does MB stand for?
Megan Bone,
And 1678?
that's her P number.
P number is an individualized personnel number?
Correct.
Just another way of tracking evidence and such.
Correct.
Showing you states 18. Is this 2698 Paladura?
Yes,
Obviously located within a residential neighborhood?
yes.
And describe kind of what we're seeing in this particular photograph.
This is the front of the house. This is how it appeared when we arrived. The garage door was partially up like that. There was crime scene tape that had been placed by patrol officers. There was a cone in the driveway that had been put there by patrol officers. And during our initial briefing, we'd been told that they believed that they had located an interesting area of blood. And so they had kind of identified that and marked that with a cone. And then you can see one of the individuals who lived in the house was sitting out front with one of the patrol officers.
Anything of note about the garage?
The garage door was found in that position, partially up.
19, is this just the address marker and a little sign that says guard dog on duty?
Yes.
20, just for the record, that's the garage.
Yes.
And could you estimate, was that like 2 feet, 3 feet? Can you remember?
Not exactly, but I would guess about 2 feet.
States 21, what are we looking at here?
That's the cone that patrol had placed in the driveway.
Is that to the left of the cone a little spot of apparent blood?
Yes.
Was that presumptively tested?
Yes, it was.
And what was the result of that?
It was presumptive positive for blood.
As a result of the presumptive positive test, what do you and your team do with that?
So we use our own placard, which there are additional photos of later on. We use our own placard to identify this area of blood. In this case, I believe it was marker A.
States 22.
And we re-photograph it again with our placard, and then we will collect a sample of it.
Okay. And so in 22, you can see there's a couple of, looks like spots or like a trail or whatever you want to call it. Is that right?
Correct.
I'm going to try not to be redundant with the photos. I'm going to draw your attention to 24. For the record, when you're looking at the home, is this the right side gate or entrance area which would lead to the garage? I'm
Yes.
sorry, to the backyard.
To the side yard, yes.
And was that obstructed?
Yes, it was completely closed off.
By what?
This wood fence,
Okay, just for the record. There are 3 large trash cans there.
yes.
We'll get to that a little bit later. States 25, those trash cans, and then that wood fence, I guess, covers the entirety of that way into the backyard, correct?
Correct.
Showing you states 26, are we now looking at, if you're facing the home, the left side, which would be the potential other entrance to the backyard?
Yes.
27, just a little bit closer there, showing that.
The gate, yes.
And that gate appears to be a gate that does swing,
It does.
correct? We'll get to the backyard in a little bit. Showing you states 28, is this the front door?
It is.
Any signs of forced entry to the front door?
None.
States 29, is that just documenting and showing that the door wasn't busted out?
Yes.
30, what are we looking at here?
So that is that front living room right when you walk into the front door.
Photographer basically standing in the threshold of the front door?
Yes.
31, what perspective are we looking at now?
So again, in that same position, right on that threshold of the front door, looking up into the dining area.
You can see what appears to be a power tool here to the right. Can you see it?
Yes.
Fair to say that's not a saw?
Correct.
Some other
yes.
kind of power tool, okay. And then 32, where are we oriented now?
We're in that same living room, or we're in that same living room, just standing just to the side of the front door.
And
And you can see the stairs going up to the second floor.
Okay, so these in the right-hand side are the stairs you referred to going up to kind of the living area, and then to the right, that goes up to the upper level.
Correct.
States 34, have we now gone up one level?
Yes.
And do you remember what this is referred to in the
The dining area?
Okay. So these are overall photographs
Yes.
before anything is kind of moved and searched.
Correct. Yes.
35, orient us please.
Same in that dining area, but you can kind of see the entry going into the kitchen.
36, is this just showing the stairs that lead up to the, I guess it's the 3rd floor, but the upper level?
Yes.
37, what are we looking at here?
That is a closet just inside that kitchen area.
38,
That's an overall of the kitchen.
39, just a different angle of the kitchen.
Yes.
Was the kitchen searched and documented?
Yes.
40, is that the kitchen?
Yes.
43, start opening cabinets and you and your team are searching through everything?
Yes.
44, I'm sorry, 44. Oops. Zoom back out. Still in the kitchen, opened up the dishwasher.
Yes.
Nothing of evidentiary value or note in there.
No.
And I won't go through all these, but I mean, you're opening these cabinets and going through pretty much everything, right?
Correct.
46, knife drawer.
Yes.
In here, we have kind of your common steak knives and butter knives over here. Is that fair?
Yes.
48, another utensil drawer or a couple of utensil drawers.
Yes.
And there are several other drawers, cabinets that are photographed in the kitchen. Is that right?
Yes.
Anything that you found that had any apparent blood on it or anything of potential evidentiary value?
Nothing.
And you went into the 56, went into the fridge, documented everything, fair?
Yes.
Focus in on 61. What is this here?
That is one of 2 trash cans that were located in that kitchen area.
And that trash can was searched?
Yes.
Anything of potential evidentiary value?
No.
Random question for you. Did you find any engagement ring or any type of ring in the trash?
No.
In any trash can?
No.
States 63. What are we looking at here?
That is the adjacent dining area to the kitchen.
Okay. And so in the background, you can see an entrance to a room. Where is that going?
That is going down to the living room makeshift bedroom area that the victims found in.
Before we move out of this kitchen or dining area, 65, is that another trash can?
Yes.
Searched?
Yes.
No ring?
That one was completely empty.
$67, what are we looking at here?
So that is standing right on, in the dining area, right before those steps leading down into, again, the living area, makeshift bedroom area.
And just for the record, there's no door that enters into this room,
No.
correct? There is what appears to be a flag and or a bed sheet that kind of doubles, I guess, as a door or block.
Yes.
68.
So this isn't a basic overall, we're starting to get into the overalls of that living area, again, bedroom, makeshift bedroom area.
69, same room, just different perspective.
Yes,
70, same room, different perspective.
yes,
Now we're finally seeing the bed for the first time.
yes,
That's kind of tucked around the corner there, is that correct?
that's correct.
71. So what does this hallway lead to here?
So that hallway leads to a bathroom and the laundry room that connects to the garage.
Okay. 72, different perspective, same room.
Yes,
73, different perspective, same room.
yes,
74, same room,
yes.
different perspective.
This is the boring part. I am so sorry, y'all.
78, what are we looking at here?
So along the south wall of that room was like fireplace area, and it had this shelving area on top of it.
A fireplace area, but it appeared it's blocked off.
Yes.
Right, it's kind of doubling as shelves.
Correct, yes.
79 is this?
That's a table in that room.
Before we approach the bed, so
Hey, Joe.
are there any general observations you made of this part of the scene before
Y'all, welcome in Mr. Joe. Joe Schmo, it's wake up time. Joe's in the house. Hey, Joe, I got the cowboy hat beaded. Now I'm working. Now I's a working on the hat band. How are you doing, Joe? What did you do? Joe, I don't know what's going on. Angela, you're going to have to change your name. Anytime somebody posts your name, they're getting hit by the Nightbot because it thinks it's spamming. You're going to have to change the way you have the dots on your name. It's the dots. It's not the font. I'm sorry, Joe. Don't worry about it. If he times you out, I'll put you in. But the dang Nightbot just got it. Yeah, Angela, it is. It's the @Angela.legal.turtle looks like a website. So it's the dots. If someone else has already got Angela Legal Turtle, then why don't you do Angela Legal Turtle Mom and no dots? But that's the problem, y'all.
we get into the bed and the body?
It appeared to be cluttered with clothing and other various items. There was nothing that particularly stood out visually. Again, just that it was dirty and cluttered and kind of unkempt.
And obviously no weapons or anything
No.
like that you found at this point.
No.
So states 80, we're kind of shifting over to the bed here. What are we looking at?
A shoe, some socks, some random clothing items.
One of those random clothing items is some black boxers.
Yes,
Okay. You got a shoe, some socks, and some wires, correct?
correct.
Showing you now states 81. Just please for the record orient us.
So we're looking north at the bed, so that's the north wall. And that's the bed that's tucked away in that whole side of the room.
'82, what portion of the bed are we looking at here?
That's the headboard of that bed.
And you're documenting kind of the gap in between the headboard and the bed?
Yes,
83, getting a little closer to the bed here.
yes,
84, now we're at the foot of the bed.
correct.
Did you find anything of potential evidentiary value, flip that, down near the foot of the bed?
That's where we started seeing what appeared to be blood.
Okay.
Was the foot of the bed.
And I do have photos later that show your markers, but do you remember where that particular blood was?
Right on the foot portion of that bed, that wood frame of the bed, we started seeing like our first drops of blood.
Okay. We're getting a weird glare here, so let me see if we can.
And some on the carpeting.
84A. For the record, that was within the stack 84A, but I don't think I mentioned that.
I don't think you mentioned it.
We'd move to the admission of the A as well.
Okay.
No objection.
Thanks. So now we are, oh, we're still on the other side of the bed. I apologize. I'll show you. 86. So what are we looking at here?
So that's on the opposite side of the bed. Now we're at, standing on the opposite side of the bed, where you can see the top portion of the victim, and you have that small kind of area just between the bed and dresser, some other furniture items along that wall.
For the record, the victim's his shoulders are kind of adjacent or parallel to the left side of the bed in this photo.
Yes,
The left edge, I should say. Yes?
yes.
Did you make any observations about the blood patterns here on top of the bed?
There was some, what appeared to be deep saturation blood stains on that side of the bed.
There is a glare, and I've been trying to fix it, but
Sorry, Joe.
tell me if you need me to bring this photo up to you. Do you remember this particular stain, saturation closest to the foot of the bed being more red in color?
I don't remember that specifically.
Okay. May I approach?
Yes. I can see it in this photo, yes.
Counsel, which exhibit's that?
Sorry, 86.
Thank you.
And then down on the ground, did you make any observations?
Yes, there was another area of what appeared to be just saturated blood right on the ground right below.
91, that shows it a little bit better. I'm going to try to zoom in. The larger stain on the ground, is that an area you would refer to as a saturation point?
Yes,
And then there's another lighter spot above that, correct?
correct.
Just tell me kind of what your observations were related to this blood and the positioning of the victim.
So that was right below where the victim's head would have been. Clearly that's where we saw the bloodletting injury, if you will, occurring. So that's where carpet is a little difficult, but those were saturation stains. So it was just blood that had cooled and saturated in those areas right below where he was at.
Showing you 92. Is this that same stain, just a
Yes.
different perspective?
Yes.
Do you see areas of kind of displacement or like odd patterning here?
It's difficult to determine that, but to determine like clean borders, but
Sure,
yes.
sure. Clean borders, like what are you referring to? What does that mean?
Like if something had been placed there, carpet again is difficult, because you don't get those clean borders that you would see like on a hard surface or a non-porous surface. Carpet is a little more difficult, but, yes, like you can, I guess, see, the outline of where the stain ends.
On the right side of the stain, it looks like there's almost a straight line. You see that?
Yes.
Okay. I would presume your photographer got a little closer and took several photographs of this area as well as the victim's shoulders.
Yes.
Showing you now 93. This is a little bit better photo of the patterning here on the bed. Is that right?
Yes.
Did you make any deductions or observations related to the amount of blood, the positioning of the blood, et cetera?
We didn't at that time, no. We just clearly observed and documented that this just was a very large saturation blood stain.
'98, this is a different perspective. Oops. What are we looking at here?
So that is the upper portion of the victim, again, void of his head.
And just for the record, Is there a substantial amount of blood on top of a blue and white comforter?
Yes.
And then what is this item right here?
That's a large pillow that was underneath the top portion of the victim's torso.
States 101, different perspective of the area where his head should be, correct?
Correct.
Did you make any observations about the color, or I guess texture, or anything about the blood?
Yes, the blood appeared black, just dark, extremely dark, atypical of what we usually see.
And I should have asked you earlier, did you smell anything while you were in the scene?
It was overwhelmingly, the chemical smell was overwhelming, burning our eyes, burning our nostrils. It was overpowering, the chemical smell that was coming specifically from this area. That smell was present throughout this room, but the closer you got to this area of the victim, when you walked around the foot of the bed and came towards this area, it was overpowering.
I'll show you one more. States 100. For the record, kind of the same perspective, but it shows a little bit of the pooling over here as well.
Yes.
And ma'am, did you make any general deductions related to where this person was decapitated?
We felt like it was done right there.
Why do you say that?
I mean, there wasn't any signs of a struggle. There wasn't any signs that he had been moved. There wasn't, if anything, we hypothesized whether or not he'd been rolled from back to front, but that was the extent of the movement that we felt that he had gone through. That there was no movement outside of that.
Okay, and so rolled from the spot that is pretty apparent down a little closer to the foot of the bed?
Correct. Either rolled or, again, something that had blood on it had been placed there that caused that saturation stain. But as far as him himself, we didn't feel like there was any movement or very little movement.
Now I have a personal question for you. How tall are you?
5'2".
You are a petite woman, we can all see. Did it appear to you that his body was the size where someone like you could roll him over?
Sure. Yeah.
The documentation doesn't end here, correct?
Correct.
Eventually the sheets and stuff are kind of peeled off, onion-like layers, right?
Yes.
Well, you looked closely at the victim's neck where his head was decapitated.
Yes.
Did you make any observations about the injury itself?
No, I mean, not about the injury itself, no.
So I want to show you 104, and you mentioned the chemical smell earlier. Did you observe any injuries to the body that may have been consistent with some kind of burning of chemicals?
Yes, he was covered in what appeared to be almost like blisters, or I guess burn or chemical burns throughout his body.
States 106. Is that an angle of the backside of his left shoulder
Yes.
and left inner arm?
Yes.
And are these some of the blistery kind of burn-like marks you're seeing?
Yes.
And many of those are documented closer. I won't
Yes.
go through all of them, but they're documented closer, correct?
Yes.
Moving away from the body now to 109, what are we looking at?
That is looking down that short hallway leading towards, again, there's a hallway bathroom off to the right, and then you can see the laundry room and that door that leads out to the garage.
110. What are we looking at there?
So those were two, I guess, bottles of cleaning supplies that were kind of on the ground. Right, that door is the door to the bathroom. So one of them was a bottle of ammonia, and the other one is a bottle of soft scrub.
States 111, where are we looking here?
That's looking into the bathroom, that hallway bathroom.
And that's all documented as well?
Yes,
States 112, what are we looking at here?
that's a picture of the vanity in that bathroom.
Including the sink and the toilet?
Yes,
And then we're trying to get a photo of the shower printed, but that's all looked at and documented.
yes.
Did you observe any signs of blood in the bathroom area?
No, we did not.
Had you, you would have swabbed it and taken it, I presume?
Yes.
Going back for a moment. To states 100. Would you agree with me that the blood in this area is generally focused where his head should be, and then at the bottom of the, or I guess the foot of the bed and the ground,
Yes,
directly underneath it?
yes.
Have you responded to crime scenes involving gunshot wounds?
Yes,
Okay. How, I mean, any estimate, thousands, hundreds?
hundreds.
Okay. Have you responded to scenes involving stab wounds?
Yes,
And is it common to observe blood kind of less focused in one area in those types of scenes?
can you explain that?
Well, would you expect with a gunshot wound cast off or spray or spatter?
Yes, absolutely.
What are those terms that I just used, just so the jury understands?
So anytime you have like a gunshot wound injury, you will see various types of blood stain, blood spatter, if you will. We have forward spatter, you'll have back spatter. For injuries involving like sharp objects like stabbings, a lot of times you'll see cast off patterns, things like that. So there's all different various types of blood spatter depending on what type of injuries or implements cause those injuries.
Sure. And if an injury occurs while a person is alive, it's probably more likely that their arteries are pumping and their veins are pumping.
Absolutely.
If an injury occurs that's not, or I'm sorry, if a decapitation occurs post-mortem, there's not going to be spurting, correct?
Correct.
And I should ask the general question, did you observe any spatter, cast off, or anything on the walls,
No,
on the headboard,
no,
on the ceiling,
no,
on the, anything else that's kind of cluttered around?
no.
Anything of evidentiary value found in the washer and dryer?
No,
Other than the two chemical bottles on the ground, anything of evidentiary value found in that hallway or bathroom area?
no,
119. Is this the door, the garage door?
yes.
And I guess, what perspective are we looking at this at?
So you're inside the garage.
Okay, so we pass through that hallway, past the bathroom, into
Right.
120, what are we looking at here?
That's an overall inside the garage.
.121, different perspective, but kind of capturing the other angle.
Yes,
122, also in the garage.
yes,
Did you, and I should say all of you, HPD,
Yes.
did you turn this garage upside down as well?
yes,
Is there any weapons found in this garage?
no,
Anything with apparent blood on it?
no,
And obvious question, did you find the victim's head anywhere in the garage?
no,
Going back to the bedroom for a minute, 123, is this the slider leading to the backyard?
yes,
And 125, when you move the blinds back, what is this here?
so that's a doggy door insert that goes inside of the sliding glass door, and it has that glass panel and then at the very bottom was a doggy door.
And for the record, that doggy door is closed.
Yes,
And then this particular, the latch on the slider, was that open or closed?
open.
Open. Ultimately, did you and other crime scene analysts impound this dog door
We did.
cover? And those 2 chemical bottles?
We did.
Showing you 128, what are we looking at here?
That's an overall of the backyard.
129, what are we looking at here?
That's the side gate that we previously looked at on the side of the house.
I'm gonna try to zoom in the best I can. This is not the gate where we saw the big wooden fence.
No,
So if you're looking at the house from the front, this would be the left gate.
yes,
And in the back, obviously, the right gate. Could anyone access that gate from the front? Like, what are we looking at here?
that is, it was a bunch, it was like wood boards and everything, like on the ground, in front of the gate.
Okay, and that gate, for the record, swings into the backyard,
Yes,
and that would be obstructing.
yes.
And actually, we're gonna come back to the backyard in a minute. I'm gonna just try to make this more efficient. 1:30, you go upstairs.
Yes,
You and other crime scene personnel document all of that.
yes,
131, this is the upstairs area.
yep, right at the top of the stairs.
And just as an example, 132, you're opening cabinets, you're going through everything, correct?
Correct.
Without showing a bunch of photos, was there anything of potential evidentiary value found upstairs?
No,
Any weapons?
no,
Any head?
no,
Any blood?
no.
Showing you 138, is this one of the upstairs living area, bedrooms?
Yes,
And can you see some, what appears to be some little girls' clothes and little stuffies up here?
yes.
Well, that's what my kids call them, stuffies. right?
Yes.
140, some more kind of child's clothing or small clothing there.
Yes,
This is all upstairs.
yes.
145, this bathroom door appears to be painted pink.
Yes,
Did you find it? So very briefly, 153, we now have evidence placards next to the 2 chemical bottles,
yes,
and those should correspond with our crime scene diagram.
yes,
Evidence placard 1 states 155, the ammonia bottle.
yes.
Was that processed in any way at the scene?
Not at the scene, no.
For the record, 156, that's just showing the other side of the bottle to see how much is left in there.
Correct,
I'd say maybe 1/3 full.
correct.
And did I say, is that the ammonia bottle?
Yes,
Okay, and then 154, the other bottle appears to be soft scrub bleach.
yes.
When you say not processed at the scene, what do you mean?
So we collected it with the intent of bringing it back to the station to have our forensic evidence lab technician process it in the lab.
Breaking news, y'all. Give me a second. Getting it up so I can get it to you. Give me a split second. We're going to take a little breather. I got to share something with y'all if you didn't know. Christopher Schultz, the Arizona father who pled guilty to the hot car unaliving of his 2-year-old daughter, was found deceased today in Phoenix. Authorities report it was a self-harm. Schultz, 38, had been scheduled to appear in court today to be taken into custody ahead of his formal sentencing for second-degree redrum and intentional child abuse. His daughter passed July 24th after being left in a hot car while Schultz played video games and searched for inappropriate pictures inside his home. He died today in Phoenix, Arizona. His sentencing date originally was set for later this month. His cause of death, again, was self-inflicted. The autopsy is pending. Schultz had accepted a plea bargain deal in October and was facing 20 to 30 years in prison without parole. His death occurred just hours before he was suspected of surrendering to authorities. Well, that saved a lot of tax dollar monies. And I'm not saying, hey, I'm not making light of the S word. I am so not making light of that. I apologize. I shouldn't have said that. But y'all, well, I don't know if that's an easy way out. There's no right answer here. There is no right answer here. There's zero right answer here. I apologize. I can't. There's nothing I can say to make that any better. Or just get back into court. But I thought you might want to know.
Going back to the backyard for a moment, the one gate is obstructed that swings inward to the backyard.
Correct.
The other side, I'd shown you a photo earlier from the front, that gate, that wooden fence.
Yes.
Does that cause that side to be completely obstructed as well?
Yes.
Okay, so both sides are obstructed.
Yes.
States 160. Where are we now?
So that's the foot of the bed.
161. Now we have an evidence placard showing what?
That's showing an area of apparent blood that was located on the foot of the bed.
Very small, almost like droplets.
Yes.
Did those appear to be downward droplets?
Yes.
What's the difference between a downward and kind of a spray?
It's like a passive blood drop. So it doesn't show a lot of directionality. It's more of just like a passive, like something that's dripping blood just passively. It doesn't show a lot of movement.
In addition, in the bedroom, did you and other crime scene analysts locate a bunch of writings, pink writing?
Yes.
Were those accessed and then ultimately photographed page by page?
Yes.
Did those shed light on your investigation?
Yes.
And generally, without saying what the letters say, why were they relevant to your investigation?
It appeared to be handwritten notes regarding a child custody disagreement.
Okay. I'd move for the omission of 196 to 207.
We'd object as a hearsay if you want us to approach it.
Please.
Yeah, we're going to zoom through that. Yay, they blocked it. Well, this is not a long day. I just want to get us caught up. I was hoping, and yeah, I know I can hope all day and it's not going to happen. I was hoping that they would get the trial up The trial for the San Antonio police officers are still going on live, and I can't stream it. Thank you, KSAT 12. Thank you for being jerks. I mean, I could go after him and make a big ruckus, but I'm just not in the mood. I have enough battles in my life. I don't need to start that one all over again. Although I technically can stream their stuff. They'll hit me every 5 seconds if they can. When we're done with this, we're going to hop on over to Brian Kohlberger. Just FYI. I think they're going to close down for the day.
We're going to take our night recess. During this recess, you must not discuss or communicate with anyone, including fellow jurors, in any way regarding the case or its merits, either by voice, phone, email, text, internet, or other means of communication or social media. You must not read, watch, listen to any news and media accounts or commentary about the case. You must not do any research, such as consulting dictionaries.
She's dressed nice. Although the hair needs some help.
You must not make any investigation, test the theory of the case, recreate any aspect of the case, or in any other way investigate or learn about the case on your own. And you must not form or express any opinion regarding this case unless transmitted to you. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be in recess until tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. All rise for the jury.
Okay, we're going on over to Kohlberger, but I'm going to leave her picture up because I need to. This is Kohlberger.
All right, let's go on the record in State v. Kohlberger, CR 0124316665. The defendant has been excused from today's proceedings. It is not present. The defense is represented by Ms. Massoff, Ms. Taylor, and Ms. Barlow. State is represented by Mr. Thompson. This is a time set for a hearing on the state's supplemental request for restitution. The state can argue first.
Thank you, Your Honor. The attached documentation, it doesn't appear that there's a question about the amounts. I think the question that has been raised is whether the propriety of any additional restitution being ordered at this point. Yesterday afternoon, we did receive a supplemental filing from the defense, and I want to respond to that just for the record before I address the merits of the restitution requests themselves. As we indicated in our response to the defense objection to the additional restitution request, at the time that we entered into the plea agreement, Ms. Jennings and I were under the impression that crime victims' compensation could be available to cover reimbursement of travel expenses. And I have to clarify that now. It is true that before trial, the families approached our office asking if there were any resources we were available to pay in advance for travel expenses or expenses related to them attending trial itself. And we looked into that, our staff looked into that, and advised them no. It was my understanding, and I'm mistaken, I realized I was mistaken at this point, but it was my understanding back in early July, late June, when we were talking about the plea agreement, that crime victims compensation could be available to reimburse expenses like that. I now know that's not correct, and it was certainly my mistake. I will own it as far as our state of mind going into the plea agreement.
So
That being said,
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish the point on the plea agreement, and then I have a question for you about that.
And I was just finishing that point, Your Honor, so this would be a good time.
Okay. So it's pretty well settled that plea agreements are interpreted as contracts, which they are. I think it's pretty well settled contract law that a unilateral mistake does not relieve one of its contractual obligations and restrictions. So how can I how can I order this restitution if the express terms of the plea agreement, though mistaken understanding by the state, don't allow such extra crime victims compensation fund reimbursement?
Right. And Your Honor, I recognize that, and that's what I was just getting ready to address. In response to the defense's objection, the state has modified or adjusted our position on the restitution. We are, pursuant to the plea agreement, seeking restitution for the funeral-related expenses, which are the urns that are described in Exhibit 2 to our response. We are not affirmatively advocating for the travel expenses and lodging expenses of the family because we do not believe that we can legally advocate for those. At the same time, the families provided those to us, and we want to provide them to the court and counsel just so everybody was aware that they are there, but we are not arguing affirmatively for that because of the wording of the plea agreement itself. So what the state is actually requesting today is just additional restitution for the funeral-related expenses, which are the urns for the families.
Okay, thank you. And you can address the other issues as well.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, which other issues?
Well, the issues, if you'd like, raised in opposition to your motion, including the lack of ability to pay by a defendant and et cetera.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I apologize. The defendant has raised the issue of his alleged inability to pay, and we recognize that he's going to be incarcerated until he dies. But that in and of itself doesn't mean that over the course of the balance of his life, he might become, he might receive assets. And in fact, we attached a breakdown of the types of monies that he has received during his incarceration. We also noted the statute that allows the treasurer to intercept prospective monies that might be received based on any attempted publication of the story of the defendant. And those, if received, would be something that a restitution order could be enforced against. We also note that the language of the statute and the case law interpreting the restitution statute, which is 1953-04, if I believe off the top of my head, talks about current inability to pay is not necessarily a block to the order of restitution. It's just merely a factor for the court to consider. And it is our position, given the relative youth of the defendant, the fact that he has been receiving significant monies during his incarceration already, and that there is a possibility of future monies, whether by virtue of the statute with the treasurer impounding proceeds from a story related to this, or perhaps from an inheritance from his family or others. We can't see into the future. We don't have a perfect crystal ball. The state's position is having this additional restitution in place, which is really fairly minimal, would be appropriate. And have them available that if the defendant comes into assets, that the families would be able to try to satisfy the restitution orders from them.
Thank you. And then who's arguing for defense?
I will be, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you. Given that the state has clarified its position that it's only seeking reimbursement for the urns, it's my understanding that that amount is $14.20 for One family, 1587.79, and then another 167.79, which would be a total, I believe, if my math is right, of $3,075.58. My understanding of reading the Victims Compensation Code 1953-04 is that the court must still do an analysis on Mr. Koberger's ability to pay. And as the state has addressed, we are arguing that he does not have an ability to pay. While there have been lump sums provided to you regarding some funds that he received prior to his plea agreement, what the court does not have is a breakdown of how those funds came into the inmate system for his expenses and the fact that they were primarily family. Certainly his situation pre-plea and sentencing was drastically different than it is right now in terms of money that is available to him. And there's nothing in the record to provide the court with anything other than what is really speculation based on the past, as opposed to something that the court might be able to rely upon about foreseeability. There's no way that Mr. Koberger is ever going to profit from any sort of movie or book because Idaho Code 1953-01 specifically precludes that.
Well,
and
it allows that monies are swept from his account for those income to pay certain things.
Right.
If those certain things, if there's no,
So he can write a book. All the proceeds and money from that book will go pay his penalties, pay the victim's crime advocacy, the victim's awardment, which is what they're talking about here. He can do a movie deal and all of that money. But the thing is he could do a movie deal and have all the money signed over to his family and not him directly. There's ways around that. There are, but the judge is correct. That's not a blanket thing.
debt for those certain things, then does the money not go then to the defendant?
That is not my reading of the code. Perhaps I'm reading that statute more broadly than the court is. I understood it to be that the purpose is that someone can't then profit off of their crime pursuant to that statute. I guess I need to read it with that broad implication.
Even allowing your reading of it, what's to prevent, for example, a family member from agreeing to, provide information, be a part of, et cetera, a story, movie, book, whatever, TV series about the murders, about Mr. Koberger, and that certainly wouldn't be monies they receive wouldn't be subject to the statute, and then they certainly would be free to send Mr. Koberger money to his account. What harm is it to order the restitution, which would then sort of jump in line in terms of priority of payments over some of the other ordered payments, such that if Mr. Koberger does receive money into his accounts from any source, that he's then, that those monies are then put to that use. Certainly, we're not worried about Mr. Koberger's credit rating with having debts at this point. I'm not sure what the concern would be to, given the uniqueness of this case and the potential for family members, et cetera, to earn money from it, and potentially we've seen members of the public send money to Mr. Koberger, is my understanding, to his books. What's the downside to ensuring that the victims are as whole as possible from this by ordering the restitution, which again would jump in line from some of the other court-ordered fines, et cetera? And if the money's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not.
Judge, I don't see that Idaho code or Idaho law asks the court to make an analysis on the downside, but whether or not there is foreseeability of payment. And all of the things that you just listed are pure speculation. There is no book or movie that's in the works by any of his family. And to say that those things are going to happen is absolutely speculative, and there's nothing to substantiate those sorts of assertions happening in the future. So
Well, there's a history in the
Basically, the judge is basically wanting to, I see where the judge wants to go. He wants to say, yes, I'll give it to him. They're awarded that money, and whenever any money comes into the account of Kohlberger, then 50% or whatever the state does is taken out and shared amongst the victims who have been awarded the reimbursement for the burial expenses or urns or whatever of their loved ones until it's paid in full. Those people will get their cut before Kohlberger gets his. It doesn't matter. Book, no book. Christmas card with a Christmas gift of $100, no money for birthday gifts, just because you need some toothpaste funds, whatever. It doesn't matter. I think it's 50% in a lot of states. I don't know what it is there. But my whole thing is that, you know what, boo? You don't, yeah, no. These families deserve to get their reimbursement, even if it's $5 at a time. And speaking from personal experience with a family member in jail, prison, whatever you want to call it, prison, jail, then prison. Yeah, that's the way it should be. I don't understand why his attorneys don't get it. Never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it.
3 years he was incarcerated of him receiving 5 figures put on his books. Doesn't that give the court some history to suggest that such contributions from whatever source may continue into the future?
as I stated earlier, Judge, that was at a different time in the case. That was at a time when, he had not entered a plea. He was not deemed convicted of the crime. The money, a lot of that money was coming from his family to be able to have communications with their son and brother. And to speculate that those types of dollars are going to be able to happen for the next many decades is exactly that. It's pure speculation, not based on something that is foreseeable or based in something that's in fact before this court.
Well, it just seems to me that one of the, really, obviously, even application of statute requires the court to look at what might happen into the future. And I guess, it seems to me one of the best indicators of the future is the past. And in the past, his family has, you're saying the family was the source of much of these funds, has provided him funds in order for him to communicate, et cetera. That necessity will still exist going forward. I'm not aware of his family having disowned him at this point and not wanting any contact with him. And even if they are, that doesn't mean that won't change. And you call it speculation. It seems to me that it is good evidence of what may occur in the future in light of what has occurred.
You're saying I'm speculating. Well, you're speculating as well. You can't see it. You don't have a crystal ball. You're speculating that it's going to dwindle or stop. Who knows? To be honest with you, he may find a woman. Some young thing may decide to marry him, and she's got tons of money, and she sends him thousands of dollars of stuff. She sends him thousands of dollars into the prison for him to live on. You don't know. And the fact is, and it's a scary fact, that does happen. And I can see where the judge is going with this. And I appreciate that because, these victims deserve as much compensation as they can humanly get. in my humblest of opinion. I like this judge.
Occurred in the past.
Well, Judge, there is a judgment against him in the amount of $28,000, and certainly 20% of every dollar that goes into his inmate account
There you go.
is going to go towards paying that $28,000. Another factor that the court actually can look at under 1953-04 subsection 7 is other factors, and those factors that other factors that the court deems appropriate, and that can be collateral resources that the families obtained over $200,000, which definitely reimburse the cost of the earns in terms of economic costs.
You don't
I also want to turn to the plea agreement.
I don't see how you can make any judgment on whatever those families have gotten. He unalived those people. He should pay for it. It doesn't matter if other people have given them $1 million. It does not mean a damn thing. He pays, my humble opinion.
Because isn't a reasonable interpretation of the plea agreement that the defendant will not contest the state's seeking of restitution that is outlined in the plea agreement? Otherwise, why would it need to be in the plea agreement? It seems to me it's the plea agreement, a reasonable interpretation is the defendant is agreeing to pay restitution for those items that are identified in the plea agreement, which includes victims' compensation, which includes in this case funeral expenses. So you took advantage of the plea agreement to get the benefit of the bargain regarding the state's dropping of the death penalty. Why should you not be held to the plea agreement to pay the victims the costs of interning their children?
You can't have your salad and the whole buffet at the same time, dude. Can't have your cake and eat it too, so to speak.
Judge, I believe that our pleading was clear, that we understood that earns fell underneath a funeral cost, but that once we have a hearing on this matter, that doesn't eliminate the court's duty under 1953-04 to do the ability to pay analysis. And that's why.
Well, are you in violation of the plea agreement by arguing that your client shouldn't have to pay those?
We are not in violation of the plea agreement. If there was any violation of the plea agreement that took place, it's the state seeking this when the other expenses, when it was clear under statute and under the Idaho Victims Compensation rules that those were not reimbursable expenses.
But they've effectively withdrawn those requests and are seeking what's outlined in the plea agreement. What's the point of the plea agreement on restitution if the defense is able to argue against the restitution called for in the plea agreement itself?
Judge, again, in our pleading, we objected to what the state has withdrawn as of this moment at this hearing today.
Right.
We acknowledge that the earns were funeral expenses.
Right.
But once we're in this situation of having a hearing, then this other section about whether or not he has an ability to pay is triggered. We stipulated to $28,000 in restitution within 60 days.
Right.
He met the terms of the plea agreement.
But it also says the state may seek restitution.
How did he pay? What did she say? $28,000? How did he pay that money? How did he pay that money? His family.
Regarding funeral expenses, and they're simply identifying additional funeral expenses.
I don't know what more you want me to say about the earns other than
what's the point of the plea agreement if you're not going to be bound by it?
I agreed that it was $3,075.58.
But you say you just shouldn't have to pay it.
What I said was that the court needs to do the analysis under Idaho code about his ability to pay.
Why hasn't the defendant waived his right to rely on that ability to pay by agreeing to those expenses as part of the plea agreement?
Yep.
I don't know how the court can enter this order today without engaging in the analysis under Idaho code because it's required. That's the way I review the case law and the code, that once there's a hearing about restitution, then the court has to engage in the analysis on the ability to pay.
The court does not.
So the agreement to pay is illusory.
No, he agreed to $28,000. We've agreed that earns fall underneath.
Does he have the ability to pay that?
No, he does not have the ability.
So
to
why
pay
did
that.
you agree to it?
Because it was a specific, we were provided with those receipts within 60 days. We were not provided with the receipt for the earns within 60 days.
So is your objection then a timeliness objection?
We did raise a timeliness objection in our pleading. I have thought about that and whether or not I think that it is a really valid argument to say that that's completely jurisdictional. I didn't to mean that the court can't take this under the review at this point in time. I didn't read the judgment language in such a strict fashion that I felt like we could say.
If you did not do your job, that is your problem, madam.
61 days means the court's not going to consider it at all. So it is past your 60-day deadline, but I don't know that that is completely jurisdictional in the way that you drafted your judgment.
Anything else?
No.
Thank you. Mr. Thompson, any rebuttal?
Wouldn't it be sweet if the judge said, well, you're in violation of your plea agreement, so we're going to trial? Oh, that would have been sweet.
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'll take the matter under advisement and issue an opinion in due course.
Oh, damn. Oh, dang. That would, oh. Y'all. All right. We done. We're dum da da dum da da dum da da dum 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 dum. Dum da da dum dum da da dum. Oh, let me see if I can get this to focus on that. So it started off with just these beige crosses, and so I have beaded. Get off of me. Get off of me. So, yep. Goes around the hat. All right, guys. That be all, folks. We'll be live tomorrow morning. That's okay, June. We will see y'all tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock for the, what is it, trial? We got 3 trials. The teacher trial is 8 o'clock, but that's in jury watch. Then we have, what's the other trial we're watching? I'm tired. I've been live almost 12 hours. Anyway, we'll be live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for trial, and we'll be keeping up with everything. Come join us then. Y'all have a great evening. Until then, good night. Sleep tight. See you in the Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. I hope you have an awesome day. Till next time, take care.